Hello, I'm here with my book again. It's another instalment of Listen with Rachel. And here I am reading from my new book, Magnificent Midlife, Transform Your Middle Years, Menopause and Beyond. And so when I was little, there was a programme on the radio called Listen with Mother. So I decided what better way to introduce my wonderful, magnificent new book to you than to do Listen with Rachel. So there is an entire audiobook version of my book narrated by me, but this is kind of a bit off the cuff, off the cuff version of Listen with Rachel. So today, let me explain. My book is in 3 sections. Part 1 is Crisis What Crisis. So it's unpicking all the narratives about midlife and aging and some menopause as well, but specifically about midlife and aging and why women fear aging and fear menopause. We don't want to do that. We want to rewrite the narrative completely, right? So then part 2, I need my specs actually, put my specs on, is Embracing Menopause, Managing the Transition with Ease. And then so that is specifically about menopause, and I give you all of the information I've learnt over the years since my early menopause diagnosis at 41, and I'm now 55, so that's 14 years, quite a long term. And then part 3 is looking forward, crafting the future of your dreams. So when you've got all the messy stuff sorted, and when you've decided that you're not going to fear aging and you're not going to fear menopause, then we get to build the future of your dreams. And that's a really exciting process that I take my one-to-one mentoring clients through, and it's all in the book, so you could do it yourself. All right, so today I'm going to read from it's the end of section 1. Part 2, Embracing Menopause, Managing the Transition with Ease. And we're going to be talking about understanding the hormonal changes of menopause. And this is a bit of a long section, so just bear with me. So it's a section called A Smoother Transition. Before I tell you what you may experience during menopause, I'm going to throw out a contentious idea. In Tanya Elfis's article on estrogen theory, The Wiser Woman, she questions the perceived wisdom that a drop in estrogen during the perimenopausal years causes menopause symptoms. She doesn't deny there are symptoms around the time of menopause, but she believes these come about because of a set of circumstances that we need to recognise and deal with rather than being caused by menopause itself. She believes that hormonal changes exacerbate existing issues rather than necessarily causing them. Tanya says, a drop in estrogen does not cause perimenopause and menopause symptoms to arise. A drop in estrogen creates the conditions that allow symptoms to arise if a woman is pushing her life away from her innate well-being through elevated levels of stress, first and foremost, and other unhealthy lifestyle choices. So why not change the conditions that allow the symptoms to arise? Well, firstly, as we have seen with over half a century of experimenting with hormone therapies, when you change the body's brilliantly balanced ecosystem, results are unpredictable. And women remain burdened by symptoms and even dangerous side effects. And secondly, because doesn't it make sense that if we happen to move away from our innate well-being, we keep in place the naturally occurring warning systems that let us know we need to move back into balance? Women will only start feeling better at midlife when there is a paradigm shift in the understanding of perimenopause and menopause. This will happen when society as a whole starts understanding the confusion that it created in the relationship between estrogen and perimenopause and menopause symptoms. Until I read this, I felt like a lone voice in the wilderness. This idea makes total sense to me. It's possible this is a far more accurate description of what goes on for women around menopause than the narrative in which it is a medical condition to be fixed. It also helps explain why women have such radically different experiences of menopause, both in our own communities and across the world. Tanya's explanation of what's potentially going on raises questions about which aspects of modern life and Western life, which we'll explore later, make our experience of menopause seemingly worse than that of our ancestors. It's not just that we're living longer and talking about it more. In some parts of the world, women lived past menopause hundreds, even thousands of years ago. In her book, The Menopause Manifesto, Own Your Health with Facts and Feminism, Dr. Jen Gunter tells us that the loss of menstruation with age is noted in both ancient Chinese and Greek medical writings. Greek and Roman physicians are also very accurate with their recordings of the average age of menopause. Similarly, in 1680, life expectancy for a woman at age 15, in other words, having survived childhood, in England and Wales was 56.6 years, rising to 64.6 years by 1780. Clearly, life expectancy differed depending on location, relative wealth, health, and race, and so on. But at least in the British Isles, many women were living a lot earlier. No, hang on, get this right, get my teeth in. Many women were living longer a lot earlier than some commentators suggest. That's me on my little soapbox there, because a lot of people say, well, people didn't live long enough to cope with menopause symptoms years ago, but actually, I've done my research. It's not right. Okay, so today women continue to have varied experiences of menopause and associated issues, depending on location, mindset, overall fitness, race, access to healthcare, and diet. What appears normal for some women is completely abnormal for others. Naturopath Angela Council, another great guest on my podcast, questions the accepted normality of any symptoms of menopause. She says, menopause symptoms are common, not normal. If they were normal, we would all experience them. We do not. When beset by menopause issues, many women will want to take HRT. Yet I feel for most of us, this is like sticking a band-aid on a cut. It masks the cut and doesn't allow it to heal. When what the cut really needs is to be open to the air. If you're experiencing menopause symptoms, stay curious about what else may be going on. Like Tanya Elfasy, I consider menopause symptoms to be the canary in the coal mine. They warn us that all may not be right in our world. We do well to listen and address underlying issues rather than mask them and hope for the best. If you suffer badly, HRT can make a big difference and get you back to functioning. From there, you can start making diet and lifestyle changes too. Each of us is different. I'm keen to promote the view that there are multiple solutions and not just hormone therapy. Tanya also writes, there are still women who swear by HRT or bioidentical HRT, and sometimes desensitizing midlife by changing the hormonal conditions can be a lifeline when a woman's symptoms appear so devastating. But desensitizing women should not be considered a long-term strategy for well-being when one considers an individual or the species. Sometimes we just need to accept that by journeying through our most sensitive times, we will learn something new. It appears part of the design. At midlife, we are supposed to wise up and learn how good health and happiness are created and maintained. This will serve us and those around us for decades to come. Slowly but surely, and despite the backing of a multi-billion-dollar hormone industry, the estrogen theory is crumbling. Every woman who wakes up to her innate wisdom and discovers the true purpose of midlife change helps it crumble some more. I believe this fundamental wisdom. So there you go. That's just my little thinking on why we need to... There's a lot more going on, basically. There's a lot more going on, and it's good to understand what it is and to think about how, menopause symptoms are actually the body's warning us and telling us that all may not be right in the world. So there you go. That's my book. Just been doing a little bit of Listen with Rachel. Magnificent Midlife, Transform Your Middle Years, Menopause and Beyond. And you can get it on my website at magnificentmidlife.com/book. It's available in ebook and audiobook direct from me, or you can go to Amazon and other online bookstores to get a paperback copy. So thank you very much for hanging out with me and listening to me reading my book. This has been another instalment of Listen with Rachel. And it's why we need to understand more about what's going on so we can ensure a smoother menopause transition. All right, thanks for hanging out. Cheers then. Bye-bye.